But again, I can tell you how to work through energy. But like me, it'll still like it's still if you're not balanced in it, if you're trying to like avoid the emotion, Aquarian, Sagittarius, the other signs, if you're trying to avoid it, if you're trying to disconnect, disassociate, whatever, it's gonna drag you. Excuse me, it's gonna drag you through the mud.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up.
Okay, so let's talk about November astrology. I'm gonna go over, give you guys the major aspects of what's coming, so that we kind of know what to focus on. Because remember, part of doing astrology, and when we're saying this, any astrologer, it's not a given. It's not etched in stone. We move stuff with we have free will. We move with, these are indications. These are things we lean against or for, right? But it doesn't mean that it's set in stone. This is the way it's going to happen for you, right? These are the possibilities that are going to happen. But we all know, like this group knows, when you're educated, when you know, it's better when it comes at you, or when you're living it, or when you're experiencing it, right? All right, so in November, we are in Scorpio, right? We have Scorpio energy. Scorpio has several levels, involvement. I love Scorpio, but Scorpio has every side has the shadow and its light. We're learning about incorporating those two, right? Sometimes you need the darkness to have the light, right? So, in Scorpio, because we're dealing with Scorpio energy, Scorpio requires us to go deep. But the theme that I saw this next month in November, was what Scorpio and these aspects are asking us is, because Scorpio can have attachment and possession and control, loves to have control, loves to have possession. Not every Scorpio, but I'm saying that's the dark and the light side. And can have an emotional attachment, right? 3 or 4, like the Scorpio could be the scorpion. The Scorpio likes to be the rising phoenix. The scorpion can be the eagle and rise above it. And then the Scorpio can be the dove, right? And release. So that's what we're going to be dealing with this next month in November. It's already kind of started, but we're really going to be in it this next month. So what I'd like for you guys to pay attention, because this is the theme, is pay attention to what's triggering you. Pay attention to what is coming up for you emotionally. Because then we have a full moon in Taurus, which is also going to be dealing with emotions, but different ones. It's going to be dealing with fear and stability and security and all of that, right? So what Scorpio is going to be asking you this month, what these planets are going to be helping you with this month, is what have you not looked at? What's been buried deep inside that you haven't gone in and looked and kind of put away? So if there's any triggers, pay attention this month. People could be talking and all of a sudden you're triggered and they're not even talking to you, right? So just pay attention. You may be triggered, and when you are, ask yourself what's going on. Why am I being triggered? Why am I upset about this? What is going on? And the other thing that in all of this that you're going to be asked is, can you manage? Are you in charge of your emotions, or are your emotions in charge of you? Have you allowed yourself to just walk through life for the past 4 years and a lot of this I'm talking to Aquarius, but other signs too, the fixed signs, like she says, is, have you disassociated, don't want to talk about it, and just reacted, right? Fire signs reacting. Um, when people say, you know, my husband used to say this all the time. My late husband, I'd say, "You make me so mad," and he'd say, "I don't make you anything. You have a choice," which would piss me off even more because he was right, right? And so, what he was helping me understand when I was young, was that I am in charge of my emotions. I have a choice to make, right? But I want you to, each of us. That's what these planets. That's what this theme's about. This next month is why is it triggering you? If something triggers you, right, and it's going to be around because it's emotions. What is triggering you, and then give a choice. You can react, or you can understand and try and go within, and that's what Scorpio wants you to do. Go within. Why is it hurting? What's going on? How can you release this? Let this go. That's the major thing that's going on in this next month in November. So pay attention to that. I want you to really pay attention to what's being triggered. If anything's being triggered, depends. You know, you could be at the level of this, and everybody has Scorpio in their chart. So everybody has an area of life in their chart that's going to be triggered, that's going to have a lot of emotion, that's going to be where you can check, okay, I don't have to react. I can try to understand this and then I can let it go. Or I can do something about it, right? But I'm not going to just react. I want to understand this so I can get through this, right? That would be like the eagle rising above it. Or are you going to transform? Are you going to understand and then really delve deep and then look at the stuff that you didn't want to look at and then come out like the rising phoenix, right? Or, because you have that choice too, are you going to be the scorpion? Are you going to stick to your attachments? Are you going to stick to your guns? Are you going to, no, I'm right. This is blah, blah, blah. I don't care if it hurts. It is what it is. You can be a scorpion. That's kind of up to you, right? Everybody has their choice. I'm just giving you what's available, right? So that's going to be happening, especially with this new moon. Remember, we have this. Yeah, so remember, we were talking about this. I already made a video. It's in the description about the opposing Mars and Pluto, right? That's a big, heavy aspect that's coming, especially with this. Well, it's already here, but it's going to go exact on the 3rd, right? And so we're going to have this. So we have this trine going on, right? So we've got an Earth trine, grand trine, and then we have a water grand trine, right? They're about to move in the middle to the end of November, but right now that's what we're dealing with. And then we have this opposing Pluto, right? Pluto opposing Mars. Pluto wants you to step into your power. Mars is about action, and wherever Mars is placed, I don't know if I was very descriptive in the video about it, but I just want to go over it really quickly. Wherever your Mars is placed right now in Cancer, so whatever house Cancer is in for you, Mars is placed there. That's where you're going to have fear. Pluto is going to play on the fear, and they're opposing. Mars needs to step into his power in your Cancer house, take his power back, right? It's not like Mars ever left it, but Mars is going to give you the energy to work with the fear. That's what Mars is good at. Mars can work in fear, right? And wherever your Cancer house is, that's where Mars is at. He's giving you the energy to work with the fear that Pluto's trying to take, because Pluto wants you to be powerful, and Mars is like, I work like that anyway, so I'm going to stand up. I'm going to do my thing. So, but you're going to feel some fear there, some reluctancy there, right? But Mars is giving you the energy. Remember what I said. These planets are here to help you. So this is a big aspect. This is a heavy one. So are these. So is this Earth Grand Trine and Water Grand Trine, right? Emotional stability. Are we in charge of our emotions, right? So second house. think about it, Whitney. You've been dealing with the second house stuff, right? Like the power was being trying to be taken away from you, but then you got an opportunity, but then you're like, what do I do? Do I do it right? Do I do it? Do I not do it? You know, that stuff, right? That your second house has been being worked on. There's some fear there. Am I doing the right thing? Right? There's some fear there, but you stood in your power. You're like, hell yeah, this is what I want to do, and this is what I want to do, right? That's the second house. This is how I want to make my money. This is why I'm valuable. This is like she's stepping into her power. It's stuff like that, right? So with that going on, so let's go over November 1st. We have the new moon in Scorpio, right? So here's this new moon. It's going to be at 9 degrees. And I have 34 minutes. So 9 degrees and 34 minutes. Yep. Gain confidence and control again. Exactly. Because Pluto will give you your power back. You just have to step into it and say and claim it, right? But that's where Mars comes in. Just know that wherever Mars is placed is where your fear is going to be, right? And that's the fear that Pluto's playing on, your psychological fear, right? For some of you, this is like the ending, the last life that you're going to have to deal with this, right? That's why it's transiting. But again, we have choices. You can choose to ignore it or not. It's kind of up to you. You don't have to work with Pluto. Pluto's going to work with you, but you don't have to work with him back. But he'll do his thing. He'll take stuff away. He'll make you afraid. But you can choose to ignore it. You can choose to stuff it down. You can choose to keep going on and not looking at it. That's kind of up to you, right? So, on November 1st, we have the new moon in Scorpio. I've already done a video on this. I've done a video on the opposing. That's why I did those 2 videos first, because I knew that was coming, and it's coming at the beginning of the week, beginning of November, and I wanted you guys to be prepared. Plus, I'm leaving town, so I'm only going to probably be doing a little bit of astrology with the charts. Well, it's not like I won't talk about astrology, but I won't have my chart up. Because I'm going to be. So I'll probably do just. I'll probably do herbs and other stuff. Anyway, so yeah, it's already coming. See, I mean, these are already here. This is November 1st when we have the new moon. Go look at the videos. Y'all are welcome to go look at the videos. I've got one of the videos here in the description in this live. I think it's the Mars opposing Pluto one. But I also have the Scorpio moon out where I explain everything. Okay. Then on November 3rd. Okay, then on November 3rd, this is when it goes exact. Okay. So 29 degrees, right? So not only is that going to be on us personally, but see, because Mars is personal. He's an inner planet, right? Pluto is outer. It's the world. It's society, right? It's a generational planet, right? So when they get exact, I'm not saying right on that day, but I'm saying it's close. That or right after, something's going to go on. It's the 29 degree. It's an anaretic degree. It's a very heavy. It's a closing out of something. And what is it? In the world, it's going to play, Pluto is going to play on our fears. Mars is going to give us the energy and the chutzpah, the whatever, to get through our fear, right? So I don't know exactly how that's going to play out in the world, but it's going to play out in the world. It's a 29 degree. We're finishing up. He is at 29. And so it's not just one either. Okay. The thing that I forgot to say is that this is going to, because Pluto's a slower moving planet, but Mars is slow right now too, right? Because he's going to go into Leo, and I'll just explain that in a minute. And then he's going to go back. So this is one time that they do this, opposing. Then he's going to go into Leo. Then he's going to come back. Second time he does it, retrograde. So he's going to retrograde back here. Then he's going to come back, right? So Mars is going to go over this point 3 times, right? So this one's longer lasting. This one's like whatever happens, it may calm down a little bit, but then it comes back up. It's gonna be something that we're dealing with all the way until December, maybe even past that, right? So we're gonna be dealing with it for a minute, but I don't know what it is yet. But just know that's coming. Whatever it is, it's an ending. It's like this with um Capricorn. Okay, because we're about to move, Pluto's about to move into the Aquarius energy, right? Now we've already been into the 1 degree of Aquarius, right? But after that, I think it was 2 degrees. Yeah, after that, it's like full on, right? So themes that were happening this last summer will be being brought up again, right? So for those of you that are political, for those of you that are looking at news in the world, for those of you, any of that, if you can remember what was going on, what was going on, those things are going to come back up when Pluto comes over here. Okay, so that's on the 3rd. So that's when it goes exact, right? But remember, energy doesn't stop or start. It doesn't mean, it just means this is at its peak point on November 3rd. Okay, but stuff could happen before, stuff could happen right after. Okay, that makes sense to everybody. And then, like that day and the next day, later that day, that's when Mars goes into Leo. Okay, so that's going to happen on the 3rd. And then we're going to go to the 11th. Okay. Then on November 11th, and so it depends on where you live in the world, but November 11th to 12th, Venus is going to go in. Is it November 11th or 12th? I don't think. I'm sorry. Yeah, Venus is going to go into Capricorn. I think it's the 12th for me, for us, over here this way. Yeah. So November 11th, November 12th, depends on where you are in the world. Venus is going to ingress into, so on the 3rd, Mars is going to ingress, or the 4th, depending on where you are in the world, Mars is going to ingress, go into Leo, enter Leo. And then Venus is going to, on the 11th or 12th, is going to enter Capricorn, right? So, yeah, and they're going to, hold on, let me look at this aspect. So they're going to in conjunct, right? Do you guys remember, if you go look back at my videos, I talked about Venus and Mars having their conversation with Pluto, right? I can tell you right now that they're going to start this conversation, right? As Mars goes this way and then comes back this way. But Venus is going to get closer to Pluto. So that's the conversation they're going to have. Have I had my boundaries? Have I kept my boundaries? Have I have I said what I needed to say? Have I taken the action that I needed to take? Have I been really clear about how I want things? This is that Mars. Have I loved myself enough? Have I loved myself enough? That's the big conversation that Pluto was having with Mars and Venus. Did I get enough love? Have I loved myself enough? Have I loved others the way that I wanted to? Have I kept my boundaries? Have I honored others' boundaries? Like, all of that's going to be coming up. Okay? Yeah. So you have to go back and watch. I have a video that says, like, Venus, Mars conversation with Pluto, right? Or Pluto's talking to Venus and Mars. I can't even remember the date. But I went deep and I explained all of it. So you want to go back and look at that. I may put it like in when I cut this video down, I'll put it on the side here. But so that's going to be happening that whole month, right after the 11th. Then on the 15th, and again, we'll go over this conversation too, because I'll go back into it during the month, because that's what we do. If you've never seen me before, what we do is we go over the monthly and then I'll go into each of the aspects, the really major ones, and we'll go deep. We'll spend a whole live on it. Okay. So then on the 15th, So then on the 15th, we've got a full moon in Taurus. Okay. So there's going to be a full moon in Taurus, right? So the moon's over here in Taurus, the sun is over here in Scorpio, right? This again, Scorpio just had it'll have its new moon, then it's going to have the full moon, right? So the moon is going to be in Taurus. Now, what is this full moon going to be about? It's going to be deep because Taurus is deep. Scorpio is deep, but Taurus is deep too. They're just deep in different ways, right? And so what this full moon is going to be asking with Scorpio, right? So with Scorpio wants you to see, because Taurus is all about luxury. Taurus is about being comfortable physically on the outside in the world, having the stability and the security outside, right? That's Taurus. He's an earth sign. He's tactile. He wants to feel it, right? Not feel it emotionally, but he wants to like feel it. He wants to feel emotionally too, but he wants to feel it. He wants to touch it. He's tactile, right? Scorpio is deep. With this full moon, it's going to be asking, and it's going to be showing you, because it's going to be, the reason that this is the way that it's going to be is because it's going to be, the moon is going to be conjunct Uranus at this full moon, okay? Because the full moon is going to be happening at 24 degrees, okay? So Uranus is going to be at 25 degrees retrograde. This full moon is going to be at 24 degrees, right? So this means this is going to be at 24 degrees. And what it's going to be saying with Uranus, remember, we talked about Uranus. I have a video on Uranus too, okay? What it's going to be saying is the security, the stability, the luxury is within, not without, not on the outside. It doesn't mean that it's not there. It just means that you are your own resource. Okay. So I came up with, I'll say it one time, and then when we do the full moon, when I do that video, I will have this again where you can say it. But here's the theme for that full moon. The outcome is the outcome. I'm not attached to it. Doesn't mean you don't want it. It just means I'm not attached to it. I've said what I want. The outcome is the outcome, right? Why is this? Because I am secure, stable, and successful no matter what. And that's true for a lot of you, for all of you, for every one of you that I know. I'll say that again. The outcome is the outcome. I am not attached to it. Why is that? Because I am secure, stable, and successful no matter what. No matter what. And if you look back, you can see that you have been secure, stable, and successful no matter what. You've pulled yourself out of situations. This is going to be coming up. Okay? Stability, security, and luxury are within, not outside of yourself. That's what this full moon is going to be about. So y'all think that new moon's deep? That full moon's going to be deep too. That makes sense? No matter what. And it's true. Look where y'all have come from. You've made yourself, like you've had the resources within you the whole time. We're just so used to thinking it's out here. But this theme is going to be coming up in the Taurus full moon. Okay? And again, we'll go over that even deeper. I just wanted you guys to kind of get what's going on in this next month. Because we're dealing with Scorpio. We're going to go deep. And this group already goes deep. But we're going to go deep. We're going to be asked to look at ourselves. We're going to be asked to make some choices. We're going to be asked to not ignore anymore. Yeah. And then also on that day, guess what? So later on that day, Saturn is going to turn direct. Does that make sense? And that is all this hard work. You see the sextile? When he turns direct, remember I told you, he will bring you the biggest gifts. And I am talking to those of you that are here every night. Those of you that have gotten readings with me, those of you that have gone under, those of you that are doing the work, those of you that are taking the herbs, those of you that are doing, showing up. Guess what? Saturn's going to start giving you guys, there's a choice here to make, but I don't think you're going to be afraid. I think you're going to be very clear. And whatever you're not clear in, that sun is going to illuminate. You're going to be very clear. And when you are, I can feel Saturn. He gives the biggest gifts, the ones that are long lasting. I can see you guys getting some gifts. I'm talking for this group that engages, that joins, that has worked, that has really gone within themselves. That's when Daddy Saturn, when he turns direct, he's going to start gifting, right? He's going to be at 12 degrees. Remember what I said. And I feel like from 12 to 22nd is when there's choices to make, right? The sextile's a choice, right? So there's a choice to make, and then all of a sudden he'll start gifting from 22, 23 degree on, right? Right, exactly, Daddy Saturn. As he gets closer over here, right? But he goes direct on that day, later on the 15th, okay? And then on the 19th, you guys already know because we've talked about it so many times, but I will say it again for those that have never seen me before. Pluto on this day, for some of us it's the 20th, for some of us it's the 19th. I'll look at the 20th for everybody. Pluto goes into Aquarius. So he ingresses into Aquarius on the 19th or the 20th, depending on where you live, right? So he's going to, we've already talked about this. Pluto was at 0 degree Aquarius for a while. So if y'all can think about what was going on, those themes are going to start coming up. It's not a retrograde where we have to think about it. It's not a retrograde. It's full on Pluto. Pluto's like, I already went over this stuff with y'all. That was when I retrograded back. I am full force now. Okay, so it's almost like Pluto's like, y'all need to pay attention because I will do stuff. Whether you work with me or not, I'm doing it. Okay, because that's my job, and I'm going to do my job because that's how Pluto is. Okay, so remember what I told you guys in March. Always pay attention to Pluto. I don't care if nobody else is talking about him. I don't care if no astrologers are talking about him. Pay attention. Because I've not paid attention in my life to Pluto and shit went awry. Right? So, then we have the 22nd where we are moving in. So, really at the third, fourth, fifth, 10th, somewhere through there is where we're really feeling that energy of the fire. It's when the fire and the air start coming together, right? So you're going to start feeling it about that time, like the second week of November, because we're moving out of that water. I guess second week of November is when we're kind of moving out of there, kind of moving out of the earth, kind of moving out of there. But then you're going to feel that Saggy energy. Because on the 22nd, it's Sagittarius time, right? Sagittarius is optimistic. Sagittarius is wise. Sagittarius is optimistic. Sagittarius is willing to learn, wants the surface stuff, wants adventure, all of that. It's just going to feel better. You're just going to feel better. You're going to probably have more energy too. Okay? So, it'll be Saggy time. It'll be and I know we have a lot of Sagittarius here, whether it's sun, moon, rising. A lot of Sagittarius here. Where is Virgo? Yeah, Virgo's taking a break. I think you guys are taking a break for a little bit. But I was just making sure nothing was over here. So, the sun enters Sagittarius, and then yeah, Sagittarius gets like we're gonna feel really a lot of fire and air, but then Mercury's gonna retrograde on the 26th. So, and it's gonna be retrograde till December 15th. Okay. So we get a couple days. So we get like what, 4 days in there where everything's going really well. Just be careful. We're gonna be in the shadow. Um, but you guys have worked retrogrades. You guys have worked Mercury retrograde. You guys have learned about these other retrogrades this year, these last 6 months, these last 7 months that I've been with you guys. This time, those of you that have known me for a long time, you know about these other retrogrades. This is a no-brainer. This is Mercury. Just um, make sure that the calls go through. Make sure that you're paying attention to how you email. Make sure that your car is fine. Make sure like whatever you have ignored that's electronical or electrical or like the internet or any of that is just going to go awry, right? Some of you it goes really awry. Others of you that were born in a Mercury retrograde, you know how to work with this, right? But it's going to be retrograde in here, and we'll talk about that. Yeah, more as it gets closer. Okay. See you on the next one. Bye, Kathy.